This is Justin again with Off-Road.com. We took a set of Bilstein, or if you ask the German engineers how to say it, they'll wrinkle up their faces like the guy in the Jägermeister ad and say, Bilstein! We have a set of Bilstein 6112s on the in-house 4Runner, on the 97 4Runner. You don't see it, well, you did see it in the video for a second there at the very beginning as we were describing TDS. We took these things out to Tierra del Sol for the 56th annual TDS. Thousands and thousands of rigs. If you've not done TDS, we're lucky in San Diego. It's in our backyard. It's an hour and a half from my house in urban San Diego. But we've taken these big body 6112s. You're looking at them right now. Much larger canister, much larger housing. So you got a much bigger piston and a lot more fluid. It's Bilstein's 50-50 answer to my shocks are too small and any bigger ones, combined with I want coilovers that aren't $2,000 and have to be rebuilt every 10,000 miles. The 6112s have got a lifetime warranty. Big body, originally designed for like HD use, heavy truck, semi-tractor trailer, and as far as I've heard, a few secretive military applications. These big, short travel coilovers are ideal for IFS-equipped vehicles. We ran them extensively in the terrain out at TDS, which is Truck Haven, technically, the Truck Haven area. We, I don't know, what would you say, made good use of the whoops and faster sandy terrain they have here out at TDS to let the coilovers run out, put a lot of time into them. It's not the rockiest terrain, it's not the heavy-duty crawling that I prefer and that this 4Runner is set up for. And TDS, the Truck Haven area has got a lot more high horsepower areas, longer, faster areas, which are definitely not the forte of a 4Runner, which, as you are aware, has no horsepower. But we were able to bring the truck out quite a bit and put the 6112s through their paces, and found, to my satisfaction especially, that I really couldn't. Where's the clown music? I was not able to outdrive the shocks. I've blown up a lot of shocks. You want to try an experience, have a high-pressure shock grenade in your wheel well. It sounds like someone shot you with a howitzer. It's something to experience. These big body coilover shocks, well, I guess they'd say coilover, which obviously includes the shock in it. The piston's much larger. The valving's a lot more progressive on the 6112, so they're not as firm at per-event impacts. They actually surprised me on the freeway headed out here because my truck, this 4Runner, is built to be able to be driven to the trail. These shocks, in combination with the coil kit, were a little softer at the initial impact, which was nice, although I had to get used to it on the freeway. It made for much smoother progression over whoops and larger high-speed obstacles. In combination with the rear shocks that are on this 4Runner, which are soft but not ideal for the setting. They're the setup on this 4Runner. The rear springs are the FJ80 front coils. It's the 8-coil FJ80 front coil on the rear of the 4Runner. They're back there in combination with a set of 2500 Dodge Cummins front shocks. Not the ideal valving, obviously, but the length was perfect and the fitment was perfect. And I kind of needed a shock absorber at the time. And the guy's like, hey, they're in the back of the bed. And I was going to throw them away. I bolted them on. They were great. They've been on there for years now. I got some other friends who have used the same combo. But the front and rear, with the already relatively soft rear, the softer front on the 4Runner of the Bilstein 6112s was much nicer to use. With any IFS vehicle, you've got the engine in front, most of the mass in front, so you need damping that can deal with that. And some smaller shocks, your 42 or 50 mil bodies, get a little firm when they're hit harder and harder and harder on trail. They can't cope with a lot of the bigger obstacles because they stiffen up too fast. These 6112s are more progressive. I was pleased with the way that they worked, climbing and otherwise. You'll note the video on here. I want to point out I'm using a Replay XD camera. The big difference between a Replay XD and a GoPro, other than the quality manufacturer, the Replay XDs are built like a tank. Ironically, that's how the Bilstein guys refer to their 6112s. They're like, people like our 5100s for durabilities, but the 5100s they like for durability. The 6112s are built like tanks. The Replay XD camera, it hard mounts to locations. It's not as squiggly and lucid and bouncy as a lot of GoPros. So I've got it mounted on the tube bumper here with a hard collar pointed down at the suspension. The damn thing doesn't move, and you'll see the progression while on the front of the vehicle, moving on trail. They're super stable, really well made, and I've done horrible things to them. Let's hope they're as bulletproof as they seem. And all the components are replaceable. It's sweet. Lens, I'm hoping the batteries are replaceable. A buddy of mine had these on his drones before, and these things took a beating falling out of the sky. It was one of those older drones with, kill your neighbor's dog rotors and no shielding whatsoever. Dangerously fast and wildly lethal if you landed in the wrong neighborhood. But anyway, Bilstein 6112s, really impressed with how they ran. They're on the front of the this 4Runner, the IFS equipped 4Runner. We never went to solid axle. We're going to see how far we can go with the IFS on it. I'm going to suggest you also add a set of straps because they make high-speed launching, landing way better on an independent front suspended vehicle. Folks say, why do you put straps on the independent front suspension? Totally worth it, even on stock length. I'm Justin Fort. This is Off-Road.com. Appreciate you jumping on. See you on trail. And remember, if you haven't broken it yet, you're gonna, so stop crying.